In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to set up a tilemap system and how to start painting those tiles into a level design. So if we right click on the play space, just the empty play space, and do insert new object. Then if we scroll down and we'll see tile map, make sure you click in tile map and not tiled background. So then we can insert that and then just click anywhere and then it'll come up with this. This is the editor for the tile map. But if I close this for now, you can see now that when we mouse over the play space area, there's this blue. So I'm going to show you quickly how to paint, and then I'll show you how to edit certain tiles. So in the bottom right, you'll see there's layers, which you can see here, but then next to that, there's a tab called tile map. So if we click that, then we can see the thing that showed up, that preview, is now here, and when we mouse over certain areas, it's starting to highlight those tiles. So this means that when we click on that and then press on the pencil tool, we can start painting that around the level. So I want to do that. So there's certain things, so you'd probably want like the blank grass, and then maybe like water with flowers. We move over here, we can see there's some blank water as well. So we can start painting our level with this. Another cool thing is if you're wanting like this full row of fences, you can just drag and select. So just hold left click and just drag the selection that you want, and then you can pop that in. So for instance, if you wanted maybe this whole pond area, you can do that and click that there. Maybe you want this fence system. You want that to be getting rid of, so you can just make that. So then we can start painting our level to exactly what we need. So this is with the pre-made one. Obviously, in a game that you're making, you'll probably want to make it your own. This is where we can either open up this whole tilemap system, and then we can start editing the whole tilemap. This might be useful if you wanted to make sure everything's fitting within the same style. It all looks the same. So the way that we can do that is if we zoom in, I'm holding Control and then just using the scroll wheel to zoom in. I can hold space and I can move around. So I can either do the pencil tool, and that will add very like solid pixels. This is useful for pixel art, obviously, but if you're using a bit of a higher resolution, the brush tool might be useful to you, because it adds this, and then I can turn down the hardness, and it starts to add like a bit of blur to it. So with this, we might want to set up a grid, because each tile is set to a certain amount of pixels. So if we set up a grid, we know how many pixels that is. So if I click this, we can see a sort of makeshift grid here, and obviously this grid that's built into the engine isn't fitting that. So based off this, and based off these black lines, I can tell that it's 30 of these black grids, and then a couple pixels on here, so I think it's 32 by 32. So if we change this to 32 by 32, so then we can see that this black grid fits perfectly into the sort of makeshift grid that's already there. So we know, as long as I'm painting within this black grid, then this tile will be the only one that's affected. So if I just make this grey, so we can do this pencil tool, or I can do the square tool without a border, and then I can just fill that with grey. Obviously this isn't going to look very nice, but this is to show you how it's edited. So then if I just paint that there, it paints that grey. Now if I want to edit just one specific tile in a tile map, I can double click on this area here in the bottom right. So if I double click that, it only brings up that one tile. So then I can do this, I can put a smiley face in there, and you can see when I close this that it edits that tile in real time. So you don't need to worry about having to repaint that, it will affect it here. But it also affects it if you paint it here as well. Put those in there as well, and it affects it there. But if you're wanting to put like get into really close detail, and you only want to paint on that tile, you don't want to risk overflowing to other tiles, then you can do that. So that's a way to set up a tile map and be able to edit the tile map to your specific needs.